Check. What's good, guys? Y'all already know what time it is. We're back with another episode of your very own here at PML, the Fantasy Red Zone Report. I got a guy I can't stand, another guy I'm growing to love like a brother here with me. Nefarious, you want to say hello to people?
Thanks, Goose. Thanks.
Well, of course.
I'm so happy that I'm growing on your heart like that. I want to let you know I kind of see you as a brother as well. So thank you for that. Happy to be here. Happy to provide happy to provide people with the two best content shows in the world and in PML. You're welcome for this. And yeah, you know what it is.
Man, I was coughing on all that BS I was in.
Think we're gonna move to Fallen now?
Yeah. Jesus, man. All that BS you sprayed over has got me coughing. Fallen. Can you help the people, man? You know, just you gotta clean up the mess.
Nefarious, I think you took my thunder there. I think Goose was talking about me. He was talking about you in the first one. But,
my fault.
It's okay.
It's really not okay.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays to everybody. We appreciate you watching. We're
Good
here
guy,
with a quick stream, and try to be. We're back for another week of fantasy, and to take a look at how everybody did last week. So we appreciate you watching.
Yep. Let's get into it. We'll start off with the matchups from the previous week, which previous week is red, right?
Yeah, previous week is red. Blue is the next week.
Awesome.
That I'm putting in the lineups that are due at 9.
Perfect. Sounds great. I'm pretty sure everybody's got those lineups coming right away. So getting into it, we got JP versus Papagreeny. This is a high-scoring game, and is this the second time we've seen 200 broken, guys?
Yep, second time.
Yeah. Go ahead. What you got, Father?
No, FKJNP. His team did absolutely insane this week. Just going to talk about the game. So 207 points, and that's with Kenny Galladay not doing anything.
Yeah, Galladay. Did he get injured this week, or he was injured going into this game? I don't remember.
He was injured going in. He's been injured for a couple weeks.
So slight oversight there, but even still, like you said, big points put up by his team, man. Cam Newton with 44 points. I felt like Cam Newton was definitely going to wake up sooner than later. I'm going.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to look right quick, see who they played, because I don't remember off the top of my head.
He played the Panthers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so, that should not have been a surprise to anyone. Texans defense put up 27. I'm not mad at that. Etienne put up 28 against the Colts defense. So, that's just a nice contribution all the way around. Goosecki gave him 14.5, basically 15 points. 7 points from the kicker. That's just good. I mean, the 146 from Papagreeny isn't terrible. It's just it wasn't enough this week. He could have won some games with that, but not this week.
Not this week. Going up against somebody that puts up that much. That's a huge week from FK. Only the second time 200's been broken, so you know how rare it is for somebody to have that many points. And if you're going up against that, there's really no chance you could have a good fantasy week. And 148 is a good fantasy week, but unfortunately, that you're not touching 207.
No, not at all.
No.
Yeah. So nice showing. Go ahead.
I was going to say for Papagreeny, Jarvis Landry had another insane game. And, I played against HD and the Browns, and HD ended up throwing a lot of picks that game, but he definitely likes to target Jarvis Landry. So even with me having a user on him and sometimes double covered, he was still throwing at him. So
he doesn't shy away at all.
No, he doesn't. But, I mean, for good reason. Landry did come down with a couple big catches for him and had a touchdown. But it helps with fantasy. but it didn't help with him winning the game.
True. He's looking like a fantasy favorite for sure. Moving on to our next matchup, we got Goose versus Natural, myself. Man, I'm trying to clean up this roster, bro. I feel like that's killing me right now, trying to find pieces where I can score points. Josh Allen gave me 23, can't complain, basically 24. Melvin Gordon gave me another 20, but Kareem Hunt, I think that was just a situation where I didn't have anybody else, so I had to play Kareem Hunt. CD Lamb, it was kind of the same thing. I'm just trying to play the best of what I had. Dalton Schultz, I thought might give me something, but nothing there. Deebo Samuels, why would I ever trust Neff? Anyway, and then the Ravens defense only gave me 13. That was kind of a letdown. Wouldn't have won me the game, but it would have at least helped to get closer. Meanwhile, Lamar Jackson only gave Natural 10, so same game there, kind of a disappointment. But look at this, C.J. Verdell with 26, basically. J.K. Dobbins with 23. DJ Shark with 23. Tyreek Hill with 32. Like, that's just those guys right there combined for almost maybe right at 100 together, I believe. Just a little over 100, actually. So Tyreek Hill, that's kind of not a surprise, fastest man on the field. Pretty much any game against that Cowboys secondary. I know they have some good pieces, but if Patrick Mahomes has time to throw, I don't think there's a it's almost another Jarvis Landry situation. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much you could do on that.
Yeah, but trying to make it work with this roster that Noble left me, it's we're making it
definitely a mess.
Yeah. Moving now to the next game here, we got Bubba up against Nefarious. Let me get the scores up for our viewers. Finally, a close game. I feel like it's been weeks since we've had a close game, guys.
Yeah, this one again inched out by Bubba. He ended up winning this one by 2 points, even with Julio Jones, who's injured, that he had in the lineup. Not a good week overall from my lineup. The only really person to have a really good week, a really solid week, was Alan Lazard at tight end. Terry McLaurin kind of let me down, and Philip Lindsay let me down. My heavy hitter, my number one pick, he definitely let me down, scoring only 11 points. So a little let down this week, but congrats to Bubba on the win. So that's going to be a big win, especially with playoffs coming close. And we'll talk about playoffs when we jump into next week.
Sounds good. With McLaurin going up against the Giants, who they're in the top 3 interceptions on the season, I kind of thought that was gonna be an iffy move, but I didn't know if you had anybody else on the bench to even play. The Philip Lindsay, I think that correlates with Cam Newton putting up 44 this week, right? So yeah, that seems like they had the ball in the air more than anything. May have been a week to have Demir Bird back. I don't know. I didn't see what the stats were for that game. Moving on next, we got Fallen up against Q. Let me get the scores up. This one here, not even close. Fallen just kind of running away with this one. You want to talk about it?
Yeah. So I think a lot of people on my team scored almost 30 points. Yeah, 4 people had almost 30 points and more, with Tariq Cohen getting me 47. Little disappointing with Michael Thomas only getting 3 points, but it didn't matter. This week my team just went off. And looking at Q's team, we talk about him having a really nice roster, and I mean he still does, but I think the Dolphins really let him down, and Breda and Rashad Bateman. I know they ended up losing by a touchdown against the Bills. Yeah, they did 38-31. But I don't know what happened with Breda or Bateman in that game.
Breda got hurt.
Whether they got hurt.
Third play of the game, something like that. It was early in the game.
Yeah, so that makes sense. So that's why Breda didn't have anything, and then Bateman just only got 2 points for him. So Javen Hawkins had a great day, and Deshaun Watson that's a pretty good day for a quarterback. But other than that, it's still tough to score 180 points. I feel like somebody either has to shine. You got to have multiple people to really keep up. So
honestly,
I think this is my 5th win in a row.
Congrats!
You're catching some fire.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my team right now, and hopefully we can continue the momentum heading into the playoffs.
Sounds good. Sounds good. For a second there, I thought he was talking about his actual team. I'm like, oh wow, he just turned into a coach there. We got another close one here, and
we set up the lineups.
Yeah, true. You know what? We got another close one here, and the last game's going to be Sim. Seahawks is going to get the win. It could make up the 14-point spread, but let's talk about it. We got Burn up against Malirojo. What we're talking about here is Burn right here has Rashad Penny, who's on the Seahawks. That game's going to be Sim. Seahawks going to get the forced win. He only needs 13.1 to tie it, 13.2 points from him to take the win. So that is, which is possible. 13.2 points from a running back. What, 2 touchdowns, right? Is that possible. All it would take? 2 touchdowns and 50 yards, something like that? Like it's nothing impressive.
It won't take much.
So
2 touchdowns and 30 yards would get it.
Oh wow! So there you have it. Then 2 touchdowns, 30 yards, and he's got the win. So this would be very interesting to see. Talk about come down to the wire. This one's definitely coming down to the wire here.
So
go ahead.
With that, and I don't know if Mally's listening to the show, but knowing that Rashad Penny, you're playing Rashad Penny in fantasy, do you just sit him if you know you're already getting the win?
True.
That's interesting. That's an interesting aspect.
Or even if they play the game, do you feel like you can win the game without Rashad Penny and use a different running back?
Yeah,
that is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure.
I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah, that's there's always do you sit people to try to avoid injury also, and that's his current starting back. That's the guy who's taking on the workload there. His 3rd-year guy, 25 years old, so kind of don't want him to get hurt. I just pulled him up. Injury rating's 94, so maybe he lets him play anyway and assume that he doesn't get hurt. Who knows? His XP, he's only 200 points away from an upgrade, so if he lets him play, at the end of the game, he'd have an upgrade or risk the injury. So decisions to be made. But notable performances, Jonathan Taylor, he did well. Having somebody like Jonathan Taylor in your flex, man, that's just a formula for a victory. Although he's down 14, doesn't hurt. Hines gave him 10. I didn't do the best there on the ground. Couldn't get the ball. That was rough. Daniel Jones gave him 20 from Molly. Got 27 from Elliott. Trey Nixon gave him 14.
29 from St. Brown.
Yeah, St. Brown's going to be. I think St. Brown's going to be a for sure bet moving into the playoffs. I expect him to get a lot more touches, and that's our matchups for week 11, right? Yeah, that's the matchups from week 11 as we're going into week 12.
Yeah, and that from Mally, that Vikings defense got him 29 points. They had 3 touchdowns.
Wow, that's big.
That was our PML game of the week, and the defense really came up for him in his fantasy game too.
Yeah, big time, and can't be mad at that. Going into week 12, Neff, did you want to take us through the waivers?
Yeah, not many waivers this week, just a few. The waivers that came in through this week. Natural got a little active in waivers. He dropped Josh Jacobs, who's having a tough season, and he picked up Lamar Miller. Then
who's Lamar
Papagreeny,
Miller? Off the top of my head, that didn't hit me.
Lamar Miller is a running back. I don't know who he's with
I'm looking
this
him up
season,
right now.
but
keep going.
I don't know who he's with this season, but he might know something that others don't know.
That's the Buffalo's running back. I like it.
Okay, so yeah, he might be using Lamar Miller more than David Singletary and stuff like that. So that might be a sleeper little pick there. Even though he's an air raid type of offense, maybe Lamar Miller's been getting some points.
He's got 3 touchdowns in the past 2 weeks, man. I'm looking at it right now.
So that's a sneaky pickup by him. Papagreeny dropped the Titans defense week to week. I guess he's going playing defensive matchups. He added the Buccaneers defense this week. Then the Titans, Bubba, he dropped the football team defense to pick up Jamie Newman, who had a solid game against the against the Saints in the game of the week. So I guess he liked what he saw there, and he's going to include Jamie Newman in his lineup moving forward.
Yeah, I think that was kind of interesting. I'm not mad at it, but definitely found that interesting. We'll see how that pans out. Pushing toward the playoffs, I just don't know that I would have got rid of Washington's defense, man. I'm a big fan of that defense. But we'll see how it goes. Let's jump into our stardom sitters, man. You know, with the holidays here, we don't want to keep our viewers and listeners too long. So let's jump into the stardom sitters, guys.
Who wants to handle the quarterbacks?
I can handle the quarterbacks.
Either way, I got lists. I got lists for days.
Yeah. Yeah, I was able to grab some for the quarterback.
Nice. So
I tried to go with two guys who I don't think we've talked about very much, but I like this matchup. I think it's going to be a really interesting one. But I like Carson Wentz against the Cowboys. The Cowboys, yeah, traditionally Carson Wentz, in the Eagles team and Burn, they're a rushing offense. But I feel like the Cowboys the Cowboys are in the top 10 against the run. But of course, and we've talked about several times, they're in the bottom for the passing defense. So I feel like if Burn wants to win this game, he's going to have to throw the ball, which, he's got a superstar ability quarterback. And he's got a lot of weapons on that offense. So I feel like if he wants to win this game, he's going to have to throw the ball. And the Cowboys have proven that you can throw the ball against them.
True.
So I think if he is able to be precise where he's throwing the ball, just make good decisions, avoid turnovers, I think Carson Wentz is going to have a heck of a day against that. I don't know if he'll win, but I think Carson Wentz fantasy-wise will be a win if someone starts him. And then going up against the Washington football team is the Panthers, and I think you got to sit Justin Fields this week. The football team is coming off of a 1-point win against Daniel Jones and the Giants, and we saw Daniel Jones had a decent day with 20 points last week, but I feel like the Panthers are coming off a really rough loss against the Patriots, and the Patriots defense kind of had a great game against them, and I think Fields is it's gonna be another turnover type of game for him, so I would kind of stay away from him this week.
I can see that. I actually like both of those picks at quarterback.
Yeah, me as well.
The only thing just about that Washington game, I think Haskins could have a day. I think this might be a good day to start him at quarterback. Panthers are the worst pass defense. They're giving up 300 yards in the air a game. So I think that could be notable to have Haskins, especially with him targeting McLaurin, and his tight ends have been active a little bit lately. So we'll see how that pans out. Yeah. Let's get into our halfbacks. So we got start and sit him. Who's taking? Is that on me? Halfbacks on me?
Yeah, you could take that one.
Awesome. This week, just going with a guy we don't talk about a lot, but we talk about his team all the time. J.K. Dobbins running the ball against the Chiefs. The Chiefs are number 26 against the run. They're giving up about 150 a game. I expect J.K. Dobbins to have a good day on the ground. Obviously, we think Lamar Jackson will do a lot. And I think with the Chiefs planning to try to take away some of his weapons, that's going to allow for J.K. Dobbins to be active and have a great game on the ground. On the flip side, I think last week was the first time we mentioned Etienne as a starter. Well, if somebody picked him up, then I'm going to say this week we're going to sit him, because I think with our new Rams user, he just gave Cookie Boy a tough game, lost by 3 right there at the end. I think Aaron Donald has a new lease on life, and I just don't know that I would want to put my fantasy roster, against Aaron Donald in that Rams defense right now running the ball. Not saying that the Rams will win against Jacksonville. I think it'll be a game worth watching, but I do believe that Aaron Donald has a new lease on life, and I can tell that the new user wants to get Aaron Donald active early and often as possible. So
yeah, that's a good one. Aaron Donald in that Rams defense is turning it around recently. The Rams user seems to be getting more comfortable as he goes along, which is obviously something that's going to happen. So I really like that pick.
Awesome. You got some receivers for me, Neff?
Yeah, I got a couple of receivers for my stardom sit-em. When it comes to my stardom wide receiver, I am going with Rashad Bateman of the Miami Dolphins up against the New York Jets. Knowing how Rashad Bateman has been force-fed this season, I think it's going to continue here. And he's got a favorable matchup against the New York Jets, who is pretty much, I would think, checked out. Has come into the league with a bottom feeder team. Hasn't really pulled any big wins recently, so if just knowing a new user with a new team and the team being pretty bad, I don't expect him to be as locked in as most users, and up against somebody like Mike with the Dolphins, it's not going to bode well for him. And I could see Rashad Bateman getting a ton of touches this game and maybe a couple scores as well. When it comes to my sit-em for wide receivers, I'm going with Justin Jefferson against the Steelers. I don't know if you was it last week or the week before against the Bears. The Steelers defense really showed up. I got to actually look who he played this past week. I know the defense really showed up. It looked like he got a second wind on his season.
He played the Bengals. He played the Bengals.
Yeah, he played the Bengals.
Turned that around compared to their first meeting. So, yeah.
Yeah, he came up with the win 26-17. I think he finally got a second wind, and he's going to be fighting for that second wild card spot moving forward. He's got C.J. Verdell back, his star rookie running back, and I think this game is going to be low scoring, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think with the Steelers and the Vikings. We'll see what happens, how many turnovers the Steelers have. But I think the defense is definitely going to show up and be there. They got a strong front seven. I think when you look at the AFC North in general, they probably have two of the best front sevens in the league. And I wouldn't trust Justin Jefferson against the Steelers just because of how quick that Steelers defense will get into the backfield. I don't see a lot of time to throw.
I can see that. I like that. I threw a sit-em out there. I wanted to get your opinion on it. Rondale Moore for the Raiders, man. He's pushing up on 1,000 yards, but I just going against the Browns, man. Like, we talk about how HD is obviously putting the ball up in their feet, and Landry. I didn't realize how I looked at stats. He's number 9 with INTs on the season, so I expect him to probably try to take away a lot of looks at Rondale Moore. So I don't think this would be the week to run him because he's been, like I said, he's pushing up on 1,000 yards. It's looking like the Raiders might be trying to turn it around, maybe for content points, or maybe they don't want that first round draft pick. I mean, that number 1 pick. I don't know, but for whatever reason, it did look like they're pulling it together. Rondale Moore has been fed this season, but I don't think this would be the week that he puts up points that help anybody.
Yeah.
So, on that, he plays the Browns this week, right? I just played the Browns, and if he does what he did to me on defense, then Rondale Moore is going to have probably his best game of the year.
Oh, wow.
I really trust Rondale Moore this week. HD's all horrible at defense.
Yeah, I don't know why, but he kept pressing all of my receivers. So I actually think I had like 2 60-yard touchdowns.
He's throwing at this point.
And one with Fuller.
Pressing so that he can get the ball back and throw it? That's what that is.
Maybe, but he was like getting the ball back. I think he threw like 6 interceptions.
Jesus.
So
I think he's given up on the season. I think that's a real tank job on the season right now.
Awesome. Well, let's jump into tight ends. Fowler, did you ever start him and sit him for me at the tight end?
Yeah, I do. And this is a guy who kind of started the season real strong. And I know there's multiple tight ends on this team, but Gerald Everett on the Washington football team, he's only been averaging less than 2 catches a game for the past 3 games. But against that Carolina Panthers passing defense, I think we already talked about Haskins having a possible game of the year against the Panthers this week, and I think Gerald Everett's going to kind of get right on back on track in this game. I think he should have at least a couple catches and a touchdown. So don't give up on Everett
I
just
can
yet.
agree with that.
And then on the flip side, a guy who had a really strong year last year. We kind of talked about him, in the beginning of our show, the past couple weeks. But Eric Ebron for the Steelers, he hasn't scored a touchdown since week 5, and then he's averaging less than 2 catches the last 3 games. So he does still lead his team in catches. Probably. Really, that just kind of shows how many targets he was getting the first couple weeks of the season. Yeah, but I would kind of say him on the bench. They're going up against the Vikings this week, so especially this matchup, I don't like Ebron at all.
I like that. I agree with that completely. It's I'm kind of one of those guys. I always love to see people get back in, but I don't think this will be the week that Ebron gets in for sure. Defense, who you got, Neff? Because you know me, you know what I'm gonna say. I'm sticking with the same defense we start every week. But who do you got for defense?
Yeah, I think definitely a stardom. I think it's on your fantasy team to be exact. We got the Ravens against the Chiefs. 100% a stardom there. Gotta trust that Ravens defense. I could see a couple turnovers, turn pick sixes for a touchdown. Honestly, really easy matchup to choose there. Not going to go much into that. And the sit-em defense, I'm going to go with the Chargers versus the Patriots. That's a tough one this week. I don't like the Chargers up against the Patriots. I know the Patriots played them in season 1, and I think the Patriots came out with the win there. And I see it happening again. I don't think the Chargers have exactly what it takes to exploit that Patriots defense.
Very true. Very true. Well, yeah, that's. I think that's. I think we kind of nailed that one. I made a list of some injuries. I didn't list all of them, but the ones I thought were notable just to share. Just looking at stuff.
Yeah, that's actually perfect because now, as everybody knows that plays in PML fantasy, you will get a quarter of a point for submitting a lineup on time with no injuries and no bye weeks within a lineup, as long as you have a replacement on the bench. If you don't have a replacement on the bench, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt, because you could say you don't want to drop this person, That's why the lineup's like that. As long as you got somebody if you got somebody on the bench that could be put in, but you got somebody in the lineup that's injured on a bye week, you will not get a point, that quarter of a point. But if your lineup's fully set with nobody on the bench that could play, with somebody that's not able to play on the lineup, then you're not going to get that quarter of a point. So I think the injuries and keeping everybody aware of what's going on currently would be good for future episodes, so people understand. You don't want to put an injured player in there and risk losing that quarter of a point.
True. Running down through it real quick. McKinley from the Colts defense at right end, he's out. That's one less person to slow down Henry, so that's going to suck, but if you have Henry on your fantasy team, it's going to be great. Julio Jones is out for the Falcons, so that could help a struggling defensive secondary who's playing up against the Falcons this week. They haven't been great. They have the pieces to be good, so with Julio Jones out, they could show up and have a good showing this week, the Buccaneers D. Kenny Golladay, he's also out. I feel like the Bears secondary is definitely their weak point. With Golladay out, that should hopefully them focus on trying to slow down St. Brown. I think Cookie's a talented user, so I think he'll find a way to get St. Brown open. But we'll see how that plays out. The Rams, the cornerback Mullen is out. So this could actually be a hell of a day for Landry and OBJ with one less cornerback on that Rams defense, because Sherman's there, but he's slow, so pretty much all the weight is going to fall on Aaron Donald on the pass rush. So if you have Landry on your team, expect a big day. If you have OBJ and you've been sitting him, you might want to run him this week as their secondary is struggling. The Rams tight end Higbee is out. That's going to allow That was Raiders. I said Mull. I meant to say that's Raiders cornerback that's out. Rams, Higbee is out, so therefore that's one less target. I think that's going to really allow for the Jacksonville Jags. They're strong on all three levels of their defense, but Higbee being out, that's one less target to focus on, and he's got the rookie tight end there and the rookie wide receiver. I think they should be able to lock up just fine. If you have Jacksonville's defense, this might be a week to run them against the Rams offense. Saints, Marcus Davenport is out. That makes a big difference because now the Buffalo Bills offensive line can focus on slowing down Cameron Jordan. I think that's going to give him more time in the pocket, so expect a big passing game there. Last but not least, Stephon left end from the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's out. So with one less guy in the run stop, that could lead to Dalvin Cook having a big day, and that is your notable injuries for fantasy.
Yeah, good addition on the show, Goose. I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great stuff.
Ballin', what you got for us on bye weeks and all that good jazz?
There are no teams on bye weeks.
2 weeks in a row. Okay.
We might be in the clear.
I think we're in the clear. I think going forward, there's no more bye weeks.
Makes sense.
I think most users, PML fantasy guys, will just have to look out for injuries, last minute injuries. Pay attention. Honestly, if not Papagreeny, but I think Byrne has Rashad Penny. If he ends up getting injured in the sim, then I'll let him sub out Rashad Penny. But other than that, just keep track of injuries as the games go along, and pay attention to your lineups. And you got an extra 0.25 every week for content, like submitting a sim score.
Sounds good.
Yes, that's a great point.
Yeah, very true.
Just make sure. With that, everybody wants to pay attention to the guys that they are playing against. So if you're playing against the Titans and, you got A.J. Brown or you got Derrick Henry or Aaron Rodgers on your team, you want to make sure to take them out. So those are just examples.
Perfect. Sounds good to me. Well, man, guys, it's been a great show. To anybody watching, listening, we appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Premier Madden League Red Zone Fantasy Report, the #1 league in the Madden community on the PS4. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. I'm getting out. Y'all say goodbye to the people, and we're going to shut this thing down.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Y'all enjoy your loved ones and everything.
Loved ones and everything.
Yeah, everybody have a...
and everything. Gifts, everything.
We appreciate everybody watching. I hope everybody has a great holiday. You guys have a great night.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. As always, man, we appreciate you here. Premier Madden, happy holidays to you. And we are out.